somebody asked us on the website about talking about some progressions with the single leg squats, and the knee's starting to get back there, although my range of motion is not 100%, but we'll get the gist here. And what I'm going to do is kind of show you some basic progressions, how to lead up to a single leg squat. I think the real important part on the single leg squats is to work the stability, especially the eccentric, instead of just slamming down and bottoming out and trying to bounce out of the bottom. We really never like to do that. And then talk about progressing all the way up to a pistol situation, which we'll talk about as well. But let me just show you some basic progressions. You see I got a load here. The load's going to help us, and sometimes you see this on YouTube. People say, you know, a single leg squat with 25 pounds or 50 pounds of extra load. If you're holding the load away from your body, it doesn't count as load like on your body. So people need to understand that and stop adding that weight into the equation. If you're going to put the weight via weighted vest, or holding the weight clutching to your chest or behind your head, then that becomes an extra load. You're actually doing that weight. When you counterbalance, the weight actually helps. So in other words, if this is an 8-pound medicine ball, if I were to hold that out in front of me, it's going to be easier than nothing in my hands at all. It's going to help me counterbalance and make that squat a little bit easier, let me get out of the hole a little easier. As I bring it closer, it's going to make it tougher. As I put it behind my head, it's going to be the toughest, keeping it in line with my body. So just keep that in mind when you start to add load, and we put load on our body. That's going to be a significant difference now. So what I have here is a wall here in my front yard, and what's kind of cool is it's very low here because the ground's going to shift and get deeper or sink. So if I were to start down there, I'll show you the progression and work my way up. I can really progress into deeper and deeper single leg squats. So let's take a peek here. First progression is real simple. I just kind of call them, you know, stand-ups from a single leg squat position. Pretty high, like probably at the height of a bench. I take the weight in front of me and I just work on standing up from that position and then controlling that load down. Okay. The next progression is to lose the load and just work on standing up. Okay. Or going here, making it tougher. Okay. So as I do my sets, I can go to a dead stop, or I can touch and go. And work that progression. And then as I move closer, now we've got a pretty low squat here. So now I'm getting up out of a pretty decent hole. I'm past parallel now, actually, working my way into that single leg. Okay. So once we get to the point where I can get pretty deep, get an adequate amount of reps from sitting, touching, using a landmark, then I'll work to a single leg squat. What I prefer is to stand on something, a bench or a box, and work the depth. Try to work on, I go through this progression in power training, work on touching toe, going to touching heel, going to get it out in front, and touching heel out in front. Okay, so my progression is from there, get to the point where we can get bottomed out into that single leg. Now like I said, resistance goes from easy with a heavy load, lighter load, lose the load, bring a load closer to the body, hug it to your body, behind your head, weighted vest style. That's how we're going to progress. I wouldn't progress too much external load until you're able to get full into it, basically a full single leg squat with load in your hands out in front. Then we'll start to work that progression closer, load behind your head, so forth. So don't try to run before you walk. The last thing is obviously a pistol. I'm not a huge fan because you're going to get a lot of lumbar flexion on a pistol no matter how good you are, because we're leaning so far forward to get that move. So I haven't done one in ages actually, so you're going to get an idea here. So as I go into my pistol, I work my way depth into there, right? But you can see it's really hard to keep that posture through my thoracic and through my lumbar. So even the most advanced people, I would rather us load externally, standing on something elevated, let that leg hang, or just slightly push it forward, okay? So I hope that helps a little bit with the progressions. Do work.